Chairman Connolly and Ranking Member Jordan, thank you for inviting me to testify as part of this hearing on the importance of protecting whistleblowers. I'm Liz Hempowicz, Director of Public Policy at the Project on Government Oversight. Whistleblowers play a crucial role in holding our government accountable, but the system is failing them. As Ranking Member Meadows has said, for those who blow the whistle, retaliation is almost certain. While Congress has codified legal protections for whistleblowers, systemic failures often undermine those protections. To address these, POGO recommends that Congress allow whistleblowers to take their retaliation complaints directly to court, ensure that whistleblowers facing reprisal are entitled to interim relief while their cases are pending, ensure that whistleblowers in the intelligence community and armed forces have access to independent enforcement of their legal protections, and rebalance the burden of proof standard applied to whistleblowers in the armed forces so they're on equal footing with civilians blowing the whistle. Expand prohibited personnel practices under the Whistleblower Protection Act to include retaliatory investigations and security clearance actions, and clarify that whistleblowers are entitled to anonymity and can enforce that right. As Mr. Colapinto just told you, federal whistleblowers are still the only major sector of the workforce that does not have the right to have their cases tried before a jury. Even contractors, who have traditionally had weaker protections than their federal employee counterparts, have this statutory right. Congress should finally allow whistleblowers to bypass the cumbersome administrative process currently in place and take their retaliation complaints directly to court. Furthermore, whistleblowers in the intelligence community lack an independent mechanism to enforce their statutory protections entirely. The last level of review in an intelligence community whistleblower's case is a panel of 3 inspectors general, whose decisions are merely recommendations that the head of the whistleblower's agency can disregard without consequence. Similarly, as Mr. Fine mentioned, the Secretary of Defense is the final decision maker when it comes to addressing retaliation against military whistleblowers. This system renders their protections all but meaningless. But it isn't just enforcement mechanisms that are failing. As Congress codifies additional prohibited actions of reprisal, those who retaliate against whistleblowers continue to adjust their approach to skirt accountability. Whistleblowers across the board are frequently subjected to retaliatory investigations, which are used to harass whistleblowers and tie up resources unnecessarily. Congress should expand prohibited retaliation across all government sectors to include these spurious investigations. And if Congress truly wants to ensure that blowing the whistle is not a career-ending decision for federal employees, it must also make retaliatory security clearance actions, such as revoking someone's clearance, a violation of the Whistleblower Protection Act. Additionally, recent events have highlighted a troubling lack of clarity around whether whistleblowers have a legal right to anonymity. For example, the Washington Post is suing the Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction to force the release of the identities of individuals who spoke to the watchdog about the war in Afghanistan. While IGs are obligated to maintain a whistleblower's confidentiality unless disclosure is unavoidable, IGs are not the only people in government who are in a position to out a whistleblower. For example, if a whistleblower raises concerns with their supervisor before formally filing a complaint, then that supervisor is in a position to out the whistleblower, and the explicit prohibition in the IG Act does not apply. It's an open question whether the law currently covers outing a whistleblower as reprisal, and that should be clarified. Maintaining anonymity is one of the best ways for whistleblowers to protect themselves from professional and personal retaliation. Indeed, both this committee's majority and minority websites promise to maintain the confidentiality of whistleblowers who disclose wrongdoing to the committee. Before I conclude, I want to take a moment to address 2 pieces of misinformation about whistleblowers that have been repeated with some frequency. Some have argued inaccurately that the recent Ukraine whistleblower improperly colluded with the House Intelligence Committee before making their disclosure, and that the whistleblower's reported bias against the president undermined the disclosure. For intelligence community whistleblowers, the consequences of not following the law to the letter can be dire. Not only would it negate their ability to benefit from whistleblower protections, but they might also find themselves facing criminal prosecution, as has happened repeatedly in the past. It is entirely appropriate for a whistleblower to ask the Committee of Jurisdiction for guidance on how to proceed in compliance with the law. Furthermore, even if the whistleblower had approached the committee to make a disclosure, that would not violate the law. Congress also made clear through legislation in 2012 that a whistleblower's motive could not be used as a reason to deny them legal protections for making a disclosure. That's because motive does not determine whether a whistleblower's disclosure is legitimate. Exposing a whistleblower serves no public benefit and instead undermines the public interest in providing strong, safe channels for insiders to report wrongdoing. Whistleblowers and taxpayers alike deserve a system that makes it easy and safe for whistleblowers in any sector of government to report wrongdoing without putting their personal or professional well-being on the line. But we have a ways to go before that is the case. I look forward to your questions.
Thank you.